Schools and businesses throughout North and South Dakota opened late or not at all today as the region began digging out from a blizzard that broke several long-standing records. The storm brought more than a foot of snow and strong winds, causing busy roads to be shut down. Interstate 29 remained closed between Sioux Falls and Grand Forks. Interstate 94 was shut down between Fargo and Jamestown, and Interstate 90 in South Dakota remained closed until mid-morning today. Police troopers and snowplow drivers rescued many stranded motorists. The University of North Dakota hockey team, returning from a weekend series in Nebraska, became stranded in South Dakota. According to the National Weather Service, the storm broke records in both states. In North Dakota, Fargo set a record with 9.3 inches of snow, breaking the city's 60-year-old record. Good evening, I'm Courtney Oliver.
Pope Benedict XVI announced today that he does not have the strength to fulfill his duties and will resign on February 28th. The announcement sets the stage for a conclave in March to elect a new leader for the world's 1 billion Catholics. Benedict was elected at the age of 78, making him the oldest pope chosen in 300 years. He came as a successor to former Pope John Paul II after his death in 2005. In one of the fastest concaves in history, lasting just 24 hours after voting began, Benedict was elected pope. And I'm Matthew Nies. Welcome to the James River Valley Report.
A $1 million reward is out for a fugitive ex-police officer in California. The manhunt started Thursday when authorities say 33-year-old Christopher Dorner got into a shootout with police in Corona before escaping. Officials say he then used a rifle to ambush 2 Riverside police officers, killing one and seriously injuring the other. He is also accused of killing the former police captain's daughter and her fiancé. Police are protecting dozens of families in the Irvine area who are considered targets based on Dorner's Facebook rant against those responsible for ending his career with the LAPD 5 years ago. Officials are unclear to Dorner's whereabouts, but found his truck 65 miles away from Irvine in the town of Big Bear. The search for him is ongoing. President Barack Obama is awarding the Medal of Honor to an Army veteran for his courageous leadership during a day-long firefight in Afghanistan. Former Staff Sergeant Clinton Romeshay is being recognized today at the White House for his actions during the 2009 attack near the Pakistan border. About 50 U.S. troops were at the outpost when it came under fire by hundreds of Taliban fighters. 8 U.S. soldiers were killed and 22 wounded, including Romeshay, who was peppered with a shrapnel from a rocket-propelled grenade. Romeshay served twice in Iraq and will be the 4th living Medal of Honor recipient for actions in Iraq or Afghanistan. It is the nation's highest military decoration for valor. Romeshay now lives in Minot with his wife and 3 children and works in oil field safety.
3 people died today in a morning shooting at a courthouse in Delaware. Police say 2 women and the suspected gunman were found dead in the Castle County Courthouse, according to authorities. Officers exchanged gunfire with the shooter in the courthouse's lobby before he passed metal detectors. Officials say it appeared the gunman deliberately targeted the 2 women as they stood in the lobby. 2 police officers suffered non-life-threatening injuries. While much of the country dealt with snow over the weekend, Mississippi was shaken by a tornado yesterday. 200 homes were damaged and destroyed, while more than 60 people were treated for injuries, but no deaths and no missing persons have been recorded, according to authorities. Buildings at the University of Southern Mississippi were damaged as the tornado moved along the city's main streets. The college was on holiday break, though, so there were fewer students on the campus. Well, after the break, Courtney Oliver has some local stories, and Jessica Gulseth is in with the weather.
So we're getting into college. I've got what it takes. So do you.
Great River Energy's Dakota Spirit Ag Energy project at Spiritwood has received its Renewable Fuel Standard certification from the Federal Environmental Protection Agency, which makes the company able to seek financing for the $130 million plant. The biorefinery would use 23 million bushels of corn a year to produce 65 million gallons of ethanol. Businesses with fewer than 100 employees employed more than 40% of people in North Dakota. Figures from the U.S. Small Business Administration's report show that there are 1,735 companies with 20 to 99 employees. According to administration officials, the state economy has expanded 13% over the last year, and without growth in small, medium, and large businesses, there would be no rate of expansion. The North Dakota House has defeated a measure that would have given residents a break from paying state income tax this year and next. Republican Representative Scott Lauser of Minot sponsored the measure. He says it was an attempt to decrease the tax burden of people living in oil-rich North Dakota. Tax analysts estimated that state's treasury would have taken a more than $1 billion hit over the next 2 years if the measure passed. Thousands of gallons of water have flooded several streets in downtown St. Paul after what officials say was a significant break of an underground water line. The city's director of emergency management says 8 to 10 square blocks were damaged by flood waters. Nearby apartment buildings and businesses didn't receive much damage. However, streets will need to be dug up in order to fix the broken water main, causing hospitals to switch to reserve water supplies. Now looking to weather, Jessica Gulseth is out in the snow. Jessica, how's it look out there?
Well, Courtney, it's bright and white out here, as many of you know, and as you already said, we got a lot of this weekend. You know, several inches, breaking records around here, and because of that, it's very bright. I would maybe suggest wearing sunglasses. I can barely see now. And with all of the snow, we've had some troubles with getting the roads cleared, so as you are heading out finally into our winter wonderland, make sure that you're prepared for the snow that's on the ground, because like I said, it's, you know, slow moving, trying to get all of that off the ground. The good thing though is that we're only going to see maybe one more day worth of snow this week and just lots of cold temperatures, but we'll talk more about that inside.
Well, Jessica, we got bombarded with snow over the weekend.
Yeah, there's a crazy amount of snow. I don't know if you could tell or not, but the snow pile I was standing next to was up to my knees. I know I'm short, but that's a lot of snow.
That is way too much snow to have.
The good part, though, like I said, is that we're probably only going to see snow once again this week.
Well, that's good news at least.
Definitely. Some rather cold temperatures are in the forecast for this week. We kind of pick up where we left off from last week with a high of 30, low of 19 for Tuesday, and a high of 33, low of 16 for Wednesday. Then we see a little bit of snow and sleet in the forecast for Wednesday, about a 30% chance during the day, increasing to 50% for the night, all the way through into Thursday morning, where we'll begin to see some colder temperatures. Only a high of 19 for Thursday with an overnight low of 1. Friday will be colder yet, only a high of 11, dipping down to -2. Saturday and Sunday fall in line with Thursday and Friday, with highs of 18 and a low around 4. So, you know, for those people who got used to opening their windows last week because it was 30, 35 degrees, they're not going to be able to do that this week. It's going to be way too cold for that.
I don't even know why you'd want to open your windows when it's, you know, still snow on the ground.
Yeah, I don't know either. But just for those who have been, you're going to want to shut your windows.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thanks, Jessica. And coming up after the break, Josh Knutson has sports, and Matt Nies tells us about a prom canceling prank.
Severe weather can destroy a home in seconds. There's no time to think, only time to act. Have a kit so you're ready for any emergency. Develop a plan for what you and your family will do before disaster strikes. And stay informed during severe weather any way you can. It can be the difference between losing your possessions and losing your life. Just ask the owners of this house. Visit weather.com/ready and let the Weather Channel help you prepare your family for emergencies.
Mom, can I have $1? I think my purse is upstairs on the bed. It's not here. Check the dining room. No. The upstairs closet?
Moms everywhere are finding ways to keep kids active and healthy. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov.
In 1977, in Johannesburg, South Africa, an 8-year-old boy picked up the game of golf from his father. By the age of 9, he was already out playing him. The odds of this gentle lad winning the Junior World Golf Championships at the age of 14, 1 in 16 million. The odds of that same boy then making it to the US and European Pro Golf Tours, 1 in 7 million. The odds of the Big Easy winning the Open Championship once and the US Open Championship twice, 1 in 780 million. The odds of this professional golfer having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 88. Ernie Els encourages you to learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference.
Well, Josh, I understand there was some hockey being played this weekend, including with the Blue Jays here in Jamestown, and the men's and women's basketball team for the Jimmies were in action.
That's right, Matt. It was a roller coaster of a weekend in all sports. Shooting woes would be a major factor in the women's basketball loss to Valley City last Wednesday. Jamestown shot just 15% in the second half and was held 30 points below their average as the Vikings came out on top in this one, 54-48. Hannah Steele's 9 points and 5 assists led the Jimmies, who went 1 of 14 on three-pointers in the second half. The Jimmy women's basketball team was able to rebound from that loss to VCSU when they defeated South Dakota Mines 72-58 on Sunday. After a slow start to the game, the Jimmies were able to break a 19-19 tie in the first half and take their signature double-digit lead into the locker room at halftime. In the second half, rebounding and 43% shooting from the floor powered JC to their 22nd win of the year. Bridget Schoeneman led the way for Jamestown with 16 points, followed by Hannah Steele with 13 and Carly Jensen with 10 to round out the top 3 scorers for the Jimmies. The Jamestown College men's basketball season could be compared to a roller coaster ride. After upsetting the 19th ranked Valley City Wednesday evening, the Jimmies struggled from the field in their 48-45 loss to South Dakota Mines and Technology. The Jimmies made 16 of their 52 field goal attempts, including a dismal 7 for 27 second half performance. But they were able to keep the game close with their defense, along with a field goal from Mark Hogue that brought the Jimmies within 2 points. Devin Thomas and Mark Hogue led the way for the Jimmies in scoring with 16 and 15 points respectively. The Jimmies will play Dakota State at 7:30 Wednesday at the Jamestown Civic Center. And while Wilson Ice Arena was cold on Friday, but the Jamestown High School girls hockey team was red hot. The Blue Jays opened the game wide open against Dickinson High School in their first period, scoring 3 goals in the game. In the second period, senior Amber Schock took over, scoring 2 more goals to complete her hat trick for the night. She also had an assist in the third period. In total, 5 Blue Jays would score on the night, compared to Dickinson's 1 goal by freshman Kira Zastapil in the second. Final score: Jamestown 7, Dickinson 1. The Minnesota Wild were able to snap their 3-game losing streak Saturday after Devin Setaguchi's power play goal at 4:21 of overtime gave Minnesota a 2-1 win over the Nashville Predators. Setaguchi scored his first goal of the season after he took a pass from Mikko Koivu and fired a shot past Chris Mason. The Wild improved their record to 5-5-1 after the win. And yet another game resulted in another loss for the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Timberwolves traveled to Memphis Sunday to play the newly revamped roster of the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies showed no problems adjusting to the new acquisitions as they blew out the Wolves 105-88. Ricky Rubio and Luke Ridnour led the Timberwolves with 17 points apiece. The Timberwolves have now lost 15 of their last 17, including 8 straight on the road. Well, Matt, that wraps up quite the interesting weekend for basketball and for hockey.
Definitely, and it sounds like the Timberwolves are having a bit of trouble out there in Minneapolis, but the Jamestown Blue Jays are having a good season so far.
Absolutely. That state tournament is just around the corner.
All right. Well, thank you, Josh. And finally, if you're planning a big prank at your local high school, you might want to cancel it, unlike the students at an Ohio high school. Students at Withrow High School in Cincinnati used social media to plan a massive water balloon fight at lunch. The principal said staff found out about the prank and tried to prevent it. They made announcements the day of the planned prank, warning students the prom would be canceled if they had the balloon fight. School officials were concerned over safety. More than 150 students went ahead with it anyway, though, resulting in the prom cancellation. That's the James River Valley Report for this Monday, February 11th. For Courtney Oliver, Jessica Gulseth, and Josh Knutson, I'm Matthew Nies. Thank you for joining us. Good night.